Update. Am I the a-hole for prioritizing my nephew and niece over my own children after they hid their mom's affair from me for years? Original post. I, 57 male, was married to my wife for almost 25 years, and we divorced 4 years ago after I found out about her infidelity. She had an affair partner for almost 5 years. She is now with her affair partner. The whole process hurt me a lot because everything I did in life, I did it for my wife and kids. And to now find that about my wife, it just hurt me. My 2 children, 29 female and 26 male, had known about the affair for years, and they had hidden it from me. They both felt very guilty about it, and I don't blame them because they didn't want to break up their family. My daughter even cried a lot and apologized a lot of times. But I told her it was all right. They had their own life now, and I didn't want this eating them up, so I told them to let go of the guilt. However, ever since I found that they had hidden the affair from me, I lost a lot of love for them. I wasn't going to cut them out of my inheritance or will or anything like that, but emotionally, I couldn't connect with them at all. I also have a niece, 30 female, and nephew, 28 male, who I have been very close with, especially since their father passed away at a really young age. I played a father-like role during their young years because losing her husband at such a young age was very tough for my sister. Over the last 4 years, I have also been looking forward to spend more time with them. Both my niece and nephew have children, and they have invited me over for their children's birthdays. They have also invited me over for their own birthdays, on Father's Day, on holidays. Overall, we are a very tight-knit, multi-generational family, and I am very proud to be a grandpa to their children, and we are already developing a bond. However, in doing so, I have also lost all interest in connecting with my own children. My daughter has 2 children, while my son has his first child on the way. They have invited me over multiple times, but I have told them I'm busy. I rarely go over, if at all, and I've missed almost all of their children's special occasions. I'm not really interested in being a grandpa to their children. Monetarily, sure, I have been sending them gifts, but I just don't feel like seeing them at all. My daughter especially seems very hurt by it at times, but I hope she understands the reason for this. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments before reading the update. Not the a-hole for prioritizing your niece and nephew, but you do need to be honest with your children and tell them that they lost your trust when they didn't tell you about their mother's affair. Telling them not to feel guilty about it was obviously a kindness from you to make them feel better, but you should have also told them that even though you don't want them to suffer from guilt, you also don't trust them. It's more than that though. They caused irreparable damage to their relationship, and he has forgiven, but he can't forget and pretend they're cool. If it tells them he has lost trust, they may try to work on it and increase their contact. If he explains that he understands why they did what they did, and that he forgives them but he is not able to forget, maybe they will see this as a direct consequence of their actions. The shame is, it isn't OP's grandkids' fault, and now his ex-wife has taken away his marriage, kids, and grandkids from him, which is so sad. This is how damaging affairs can be. You're not destroying your life or your relationship with your spouse. You hurt everyone in the nuclear family and splash damage beyond. OP, this was all your wife's doing. She's the one who cheated. She's the one who put your children in a position to hide what they discovered in the first place. She's the one who continued with her affair partner instead of stopping right then and there. They knew it was wrong of their mother, but talk about being between a rock and a hard spot. Do we tell dad and break his heart? Break up his marriage to our mother, who will be devastated too? Uproot our whole lives because we told? Are we now to blame because we didn't want to ruin a whole marriage and family dynamic? Or do we hope to God this all goes away and this family can back to normal? Your children are your responsibility to protect, not the other way around. Your wife forced that upon them. Doing so ruined your relationship with her and with them. You would do yourself a great service to go to counseling. It's just too much to bear alone. Good luck, OP. I truly hope you think about and repair your relationship. They're just as much a victim as you are. Now for the update. Thank you all for the advice. The one thing I got most from the comments was that my children deserve to know the truth and to not be left in a limbo like it was for years. And that's what I just did. I just got off a video call from my daughter and my son. The call was pretty rough and extremely emotional, but I got everything off my chest. I told them that while I had forgiven them, I could never forget it, and that for my mental health, it was better to limit our interactions. I told them to not feel guilty about anything, but that also after dedicating more than half my life to my wife and children, it was time to put myself first. I told them my heart wasn't in it to be a grandparent to their children. I was also honest with them and told them my heart was only in it for my nephews and nieces' kids, and whenever I did go to their house, I felt joy. While with my own children, I felt nothing. My children probably already knew it, but I wanted them to hear it from me directly. It was really hard to get it off my chest and say it directly to my children's faces. I told them they were still welcome to come to my house anytime and call me anytime they needed help. Both my children took the call really hard, but I think my daughter took it worst. Really ugly tears. And I felt really bad about it. But I do feel a sense of relief. And I have pretty much told all of my feelings to my children and did not keep anything secret. I can now move forward with my life, and so can my children. But wait, did they just accept it or begged for a chance? Also, did your kids' relationship with their mother suffered? They didn't beg, but they did apologize a lot, and also cried, and they asked me to reconsider. I told them I would, but for now I would rather we limit the interactions. Yes, their relationship with their mother has also suffered a lot. Man, so many of these comments presenting a false binary. His kids fooled around and found out. OP is a POS who never loved his kids. Jesus, the kids were put into an impossible situation, but they also made a wrong choice. OP isn't wrong for feeling how he feels, but he should be addressing his feelings, instead of simply displacing his love into a surrogate family. Everyone is a victim here and everyone is broken, except this selfish witch who actually is at fault. Yep, this is essentially it. How working on his feelings will be unique to him and only he can judge if it's appropriate though. Everyone is a victim here and everyone is broken, except the selfish bee who actually is at fault. Funnily enough, I've seen comments from people defending her saying that she's suffering too, etc. Sad situation all around. Horrible, really. There is no legitimate way to judge this one. I just know from personal experience, OP and his children will all come to hate and regret this entire mess someday, when it's too late and he is dead most likely. Sometimes you just don't get closure. Sometimes there is no resolution, no forgiveness, no redemption. Just an ending. My mother was wonderful the first half of my childhood, had a mental breakdown, and became monstrously abusive from the ages of 13 to 20. Left me with so many mental issues, and no tools to cope with them or language to identify them. Just after the birth of my first child, I invited my whole family to travel up and see the baby. She and I hadn't spoken in months and hadn't seen each other in years. On the second day of the visit, she dropped stone dead to the floor from a massive heart attack. I was 26. Life really isn't fair. In my opinion, the measure of a person is really how they react to adversity, and then how they react to that reaction. I didn't get closure, and I behaved really poorly that year and the next 3 years after. My grief was toxic, and I poisoned everything I touched with it. Damn near ruined my life. Damn near ended it. But at some point, I stopped reacting and took stock. I started getting my life back on track. Those ugly years motivated me to be better and to get help, and most importantly, to allow myself to actually think about every thought and memory I was hiding from. 12 years later, and I still don't have closure. I know and accept that I never will. What I have found instead is a kind of peace on the subject of mom. I've examined my whole life with her from every possible angle dozens of times over, to the point of exhaustion. And now it just is. I've lived nearly as long without her as I did with her. She's just dead now, and that means what it means. Not sure I actually need that closure anymore. It wouldn't change the past, nor give me anything I can't give myself. I have allowed myself to be at peace. It still aches to think of what I lost and what could have been, but I honestly don't think about it much at all. Too busy living to be focused on the dead. While my story isn't nearly as tragic and traumatizing, I've recently come to understand what it's like to go through a traumatic event without the possibility of closure. I'm 50 years old, and I've had my fair share of loss and heartbreak, but nothing like this. I feel like a boat whose sails were ripped off, and its compass broken during a storm, and now I'm cast adrift on an endless, windless sea. I do hope it gets better with time, but I'm not counting on it. Next story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to pay for my ex-wife's sister's college? I, 30 male, was married to my ex-wife Claire, 28 female, for 4 years, until I found out she had been cheating on me with an ex-boyfriend. Needless to say, the marriage ended and we got divorced about 8 months ago. During the divorce proceedings, I learned that Claire's younger sister, Cindy, 20 female, had known about the affair, but chose to keep quiet about it and helped Claire hide the affair from me and her family. Before all of this, I had promised to pay for Cindy's medical school costs, as myself and my family are wealthy. And despite the divorce, I had decided I was going to pay for her education, as at the time I felt I didn't need to punish Cindy for what her sister did. However, as I said before, it was during the divorce proceedings that I found out about what Cindy did. And once I found out that Cindy was complicit in hiding Claire's infidelity, I felt betrayed and decided to revoke my offer. I told Cindy 8 months back that she should look for a loan or for other funding, and I wouldn't fund her anymore. I'd already paid for 1 semester. Recently, when I received an email from the college regarding the upcoming semester fees, I responded by informing them that they should direct any further inquiries to Cindy, as I would no longer be funding her education. Cindy called me screaming and crying and accusing me of being cruel and heartless for cutting her off. She says that her family couldn't afford the tuition without my support and that she would have to take out a loan. I told her she is not my concern anymore, and I blocked her. When her father contacted me, he was calmer, asking if there was any possibility of reversing my decision. I stood firm and said that I had no intention of continuing to support Cindy financially. He says he understands and will try to make Cindy understand too. For context, he was very good to me during my marriage and offered me support when I told him I was going to divorce Claire. This decision has caused a rift among friends and family. While most of them support my decision, some have criticized me for not honoring my previous promise to Cindy. Even my own mother is urging me to reconsider, citing my past promise and the fact that paying for Cindy's education wouldn't be a financial issue for me. However, my father stands by me, agreeing with my decision. Truthfully, I have the means to pay for Cindy's entire medical school education without difficulty, but I can't shake the feeling of betrayal caused by Claire's cheating and Cindy's complicity. But I feel conflicted. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Cindy is upset because she got caught hiding her sister's secret, and now she's paying the price of betrayal. You were helping her out of kindness, yet she could not repay that to you. Not the a-hole. Yep. Decisions have consequences, and this is hers. Hopefully, this will teach her that lying and betraying people isn't something she should ever do again. She has no chance in medical school anyway. She called her sister's ex-husband screaming and demanding he pay her tuition. She's not even remotely mature enough to succeed in medical school. Absolute freaking clown and entitled AF. I hope she has to drop out. She sounds dumb AF and has no moral compass. I don't care if OP is a bazillionaire. He shouldn't give his cheater-enabling, immoral, stupid AF sister-in-law a single penny. While most of them support my decision, some have criticized me for not honoring my previous promise to Cindy. Your friends can pay for Cindy if they feel so strongly about her education. What Cindy did was not the act of a friend. She helped destroy your marriage and supported your ex-wife's infidelity. She chose her side and turned her back on you, so you can oblige her by withdrawing your promise to pay. She should ask her cheating sister to pay for the education, not the a-hole. Maybe the ex-boyfriend can pay, as apparently he was more important to Cindy than the OP. The promise was based on having a good relationship with them. They both betrayed you. Cindy probably under pressure of her sister, but that is ultimately irrelevant, not the a-hole. And tell your annoying mother to mind her own business. Last story. I, 26 female, was manipulated into having an affair with my sister's 24 female boyfriend. How much space should I give my sister? 4 years ago, my sister Lisa started dating this guy we will call Rob. When I met Rob, we both hit it off immediately and became friends. About 9 months into their relationship, we realized we had mutual feelings, and Rob manipulated me into thinking we were soulmates. I didn't want to hurt my sister, but Rob said we would do this in a way that hurts my sister the least. We were going to have to tell her, but be very delicate about the situation. Throughout the course of our relationship, he made every excuse possible not to tell her. This goes by for the next 3 years, and then I found out they planned on moving in together. At that point, I realized he was a liar and manipulator. I broke things off with him, and I didn't want my sister to be with someone like that, so I told her everything. Texted her all the proof. I texted her everything that happened. She didn't reply, and I was blocked and everything, and she apparently broke up with Rob and blocked him and everything as well. I want my sister to understand we were both victims, but not sure how much time to give her before I try reaching out again. I am not sure I would call you a victim. It sounds like you were perfectly aware you were doing something wrong because her feelings were a topic of discussion between you two. I think she realized that he was going to marry her sister, and she wanted to force him to choose her. That's the only reason she told her sister. I have no doubt that she's gonna try to get with him still, and it'll be easier with her sister out of the way. It was, but I honestly can't help that I was in love with him. He manipulated me into thinking he felt the same way. If I knew I was a side piece, I wouldn't have done it. So if it felt the same way, it was okay that you were banging your sister's boyfriend behind her back? Is it just the fact that he doesn't really care about you that makes it wrong? You are not any type of victim. You are selfish and prioritized your wants and feelings above being honest and not hurting your sister. BS. You know you were a side piece. You knew he was in a relationship. You were not and has never been a victim in this situation. It doesn't matter what he told you. No one buys that you are that stupid as you try to portray yourself, because no one is that stupid. And you have been banging your sister's boyfriend for 3 years. Not even just once, which would already be bad enough, and one time too many. You were an adult, and you knew what you were doing to your sister. You just never cared about her. Your sister is the only victim. She got betrayed by not just a man, but by her own sister too. You have no morals. You should be ashamed of yourself. Please leave your sister alone for good. Don't try to talk to her or contact her unless she wants to talk to you, if she reaches out. She probably never will, at least not if she knows what's best for her. She's better off without the likes of you in her life. Who needs enemy when they have a sister like you? If you were my sister or any other female/male family member of mine who did this to me, then you better hope to never get into my sight again, or there's a good chance you would end up without hair and with clawed out eyes. You would be as good as dead to me. Getting cheated on sucks, but what's even worse is being betrayed by your own family. Because romantic interests come and go, but you should always be able to rely on your family, trust your family, and know they have your back. If it's not true to some family members, then those don't worth being kept around in a person's life.